What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Brick Lounge presented by SC Bricks. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're not canceled yet.
What?
Once
Thanks,
again,
Eric. What a great start.
awesome. Once again, I am your host, Eric, joined by my co-host, John and Kipp. How are you guys doing today, boys?
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I'm happy. Today's my birthday, so it's a birthday podcast, and I'm excited to be spending tonight on the phone doing this with you guys. So
yes, it is.
I'm ready. Thank
It
you.
is the Brick Lounge's first birthday podcast.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
So everyone listening, happy birthday to John. We are excited to be back. This week, we are going to be rolling our way down the Lego themes, and we want to talk about city, town, the origins thereof. But before we get into that, I want to talk about our week in Lego, gentlemen. Tell me about your week in Lego. What you been working on?
Man, so in the past week, I placed a couple really large Bricklink orders and got my parts in. And you guys, before this broadcast started, saw what I had been working on. I have done a memorial portrait of my roommate's dog who passed away back in February. And Buddy's portrait has turned out awesomely as far as I can tell.
Kipp, I will second that. It's an amazing
Yeah.
piece of art, and I'm super impressed with not only the fact that you did it, but how well it looks. Like it looks something like you would pay a lot of money for. And it also looks like something that came from your heart, because that's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of collecting of parts and a lot of parts. Nicely done.
It was fun.
For those listening, Kipp has dipped his toes into the Lego art side of things and done a lot of mosaics, but all of his mosaics are very sentimental and touching, and that's awesome. That's awesome. That's very incredible. Anything you want to add to that, Kipp?
Really, I enjoy doing it. Can't wait to get all the parts for my next one, but my next one's going to take forever to accumulate everything I need for it. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, man. I don't want to tease too much on that one, but that's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
And you're going to hit a whole another level of listener talking about that. John, what about you, my man, birthday boy? What's your Lego been?
Thank you for asking. I geared up for birthday, and so I was able to get 3 sets on my birthday, which I'm excited about. One of them was the new set that I think everybody's excited about, the Milky Way Galaxy. So that's 31212. That's a huge set. It's got 3,100 pieces roughly. So it's a beautiful set, and I'm genuinely excited about building it and also displaying it. And I don't say that about many of the sets I have, because a lot of them, they don't get built, or they're displayed with other sets. This one is its own. So I was excited about that. And then along with it, which I think everyone on this call is excited about, is the gift with purchase, which was $46.87. And I haven't looked to see how much that thing's worth on YouTube, but it doesn't matter because or eBay, because I already opened it and built it, and I love it. And so
our local to give you a little insight, our local Bricks and Minifigs was selling it the other day for $24.99.
Eric, you read me.
Okay, right out the gate. Yeah. I'm surprised they had them. Did they have quantities?
They had one.
That's what I'm talking about.
They might have had more in the back.
Possible, yeah. I almost bought it just because, but I was like, I didn't need it.
So I'm excited about that set. I love the Orange Spaceman, and I didn't know this, but it makes sense. They don't have air tanks, so that's a future purchase or acquisition for me. And then I got a Harry Potter set, which, gosh, I can't remember the set number, but it's got the Buckbird or Buckbeak and all the glow-in-the-dark mushrooms and spiders, and it's pretty cool. It's got some blue leaves. It's got some little white round by round tiles, translucent, and kind of like that same pearl that they have for the space stuff. So
yeah. Our favorite pearl.
Our favorite pearl, yeah. So I'm excited about all those things for my Lego journey, to add to some fun times, and that's my week. So there you go.
How about you, Eric?
Awesome.
It's your turn.
Why, thank you for asking. I mean, we just can't get off space, man. When they dropped that Space Diner set, I immediately went, how quickly can I spend $100? And did so very quickly, but also had one of my fastest Lego orders shipped to me. It arrived in 3 days, technically less than 3 days, because I ordered it Tuesday evening and got it on Friday morning. So it was very, very quick. But I got some of the new habitat sets with the aliens and planet races and everything. No. The little exclusive ones, the one that comes with the white spaceman with the black back, and the other one, the ones with the aliens.
Lots of colorful pieces in those sets.
Yeah, and I got the space triple pack that came with the poly bag, the spaceship, and I thought that was a good grab as well. And I also started work on an addition that I'm going to be doing to my space base, but it's going to be the first part, a single diorama. I am doing a micro scale classic moon base.
Nice.
Using the space baby. I started working the other day.
Cool. That'll be great.
That was a very in the moment thing where I was looking at that last GWP on my shelf, and I had my pink space babies standing next to my blue space babies, and went, yeah, they need to be on the moon. So I started.
I just had a thought with that.
A space baby diorama.
You just clicked something in my brain, and if you look at things over a distance, they're smaller in the distance.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be kind of cool to actually attach a whole small base station of baby stuff, but like put some space between it and another space build?
Like put it farther back.
Put it further back with some space between it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's, but you don't really mix them. You have a distinct line of space between them, and then off in the distance you see the babies.
Yeah, it'd just be like a bunch of barren moon and then way off distance.
Yeah. You could do it at like an angle too, where the front half is higher up than the back. You get that depth as well, not just distance.
Oh yeah, that's really good. And then so you're going to obviously use some of the micro rocket sets and the designs from that.
Yeah.
This bad boy.
Oh yeah. Nothing. Not doing anything huge. I'm just doing 148 by 48 base plate. But I needed something I wanted to do something to display them with, and it was a fun thing. And now I'm doing like little micro scale classic space mechs that I'm working on to try and fit my space babies in.
Because you get to know me more and more, I don't go small, and so now we're building a massive space baby space station. So thanks a lot.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, that's the funny thing about you and me is I am the opposite of you when it comes to that. I build small, you build big.
Yeah, I like to think of space.
Literally.
I have to think about vertical detail versus horizontal detail. That's
yeah.
And then also the depth of the detail. That's some of the feedback I've gotten. So I think we've got a collab coming up with SC Bricks. I'll just put it out there. It's going to be within the theme that we're talking about, in the sense that it's part of like a city-ish outskirts of town or mixed into the edges of wherever. But we're doing a trailer park, and we're super excited about it. We've got like 40 people that are building individual. They've got plots of land, and they're building trailers on top of them. And so we have lots of vignettes, and we're going to put it together, and we're going to display it in Atlanta next year. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So
those listening, keep an eye out for Atlanta BrickCon 2025.
Yeah.
It's 2024.
Yep.
Sometimes I forget such things.
Yep.
Yeah. And people put a lot of work into it already, so it's going to be amazing. I think we're going to have some version of the farm in it. So that's why I brought it up. That's why I thought about it.
That's very exciting. So speaking of farm, we'll get back on topic because this can very easily turn into space episode 2.
So this concludes What Did You Do Last Week with Lego?
This is what did you do last week? Your weekend Lego has been concluded. So let's get into the topic of the show. We're working as I said at the beginning, at the top of the show, we are working our way through the classic themes. And along with space, one of the original classic themes at the time was town, now known as city. But that is technically, because of it becoming city, it's the longest running Lego theme, because that traditional space and castle are gone, but city continues. It's just been rebranded as city rather than town. Everyone gives Ninjago credit for being the longest running classic theme, but no, it is city/town.
That makes sense.
Where do we start on such a broad topic of city and town?
Oh man, I'll say, as we thought about talking about this, I wanted to stretch my Lego knowledge because I think it's fun to come with facts and information. So I got a little bit of information I could kick us off with, which just talks about, like when it all started. And so, I will pretend to be any type of a Lego historical expert, but I'll just spout out a few facts that I think will set us in the right direction. So
are these coming from Lego.com, or are these coming from any?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna put a plug in. I'm just gonna do it because that's a great question. Thank you, hype man. This is all this information is directly off of the lego.com website. And so if you listeners don't know, Lego has an extensive detailed background of their history available on their website like any good corporation should. But Lego has done an excellent job of it. So all I did was peruse it just to get my mind going. And so I'd encourage anybody that's interested in the history of Lego to do what I did, and probably Kipp as well. I don't know, Eric.
They do
Yep.
do a really good job of keeping track of their own history, which is incredibly important. But also, how dare you plug Lego on a Lego podcast?
Yeah, without getting paid for it. Hint, hint. I'm just saying. Joking, of course. But no, this is
Take us away, John.
yeah. So, okay. So, you mentioned earlier, that when Lego first started, it had, the castle and the space theme. And so I guess take it back even further to that, like the origin of Lego City. And so at one point it was Lego Town, right? But I'll start with the introduction of the minifig in 1978. Now it goes a little bit before that. And so kind of like Lego nerds like me know that it started in 1955. And it was because the Lego had entered into a contest, Gottfried von Christensen entered into a contest and decided to use his bricks to create town plans. And so he created a couple historical Lego town plan elements. And that kind of started them in this vein of wanting to build so that children could be educated in what life is. And so they started to give directions for buildings, for cars, street signs. They gave roads on cloths. And so I would just love to know how much those sets are worth right now, because they're pretty penny. But those original sets really set the stage for what is Lego City today. So if you take it from 1955 through its iterations all the way up to 1978, when really Castle in Space, and it was the minifigure, and it really came into existence there. So start right there. That's kind of the thing, and then it just rolls in. I'm going to get some high end facts here. One, it was Lego Town all the way until 1991, when it became Lego City, and then for a brief time from 2003 to 2004 it was Lego World City, and then it was rebranded back to Lego City in 2005, and it's been that way since. And so to your point, it's the longest running theme, and I'm sure you guys have a lot to say about it, but just generally that's it. Like it started in the 55, kind of changed its name a couple times, and now here we are 2024, and there's a million sets behind the name.
There really are, and to kind of dig into that a little bit, one of the things that appeals to me about Lego Town and now Lego City is it is, when you think of Lego, I think most people think of something town or city related, whether it be your first police station, your first fire station, your first airport, your first shuttle, whatever the case may be. You think of something city or town related. So it's so synonymous with Lego, and it fascinates me that the city theme as a whole is also, I would argue, most popular building theme amongst the AFOL community. I think most AFOLs, there's a lot of, you get a lot of people that do Star Wars stuff. I mean, there's people that do everything, as we talked about in episode 1. But I think you see a lot more city from the AFOL community than you do most other themes.
Yeah, I agree. And you see it in some of the builds may not technically be Lego City, but they're influenced by it, and
they're city inspired. Yeah.
City inspired. Yeah. And that's, I think for me, that was the thing that got me into Lego, was the creation of the modulars. Yeah. And although that's not, the same thing, but it's the city sets that we originally played with as kids expanded into more detailed. And so keeping it on the smaller minifig scale, like all of those sets that you just mentioned, were really the foundation of my Legoing, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was looking back on research for this episode. I was looking back on the classic sub themes, and I mean,
let's dig in.
You look at the official listing and you've got like fire and police and things, EMS, things as official sub things. I still count those as broad city because they're city stuff. But some of the things that I didn't think about as part of city are like the jungle, the extreme sports, the Arctic. They're all part of city, and it's easy to see now because they're branded as such. But back it wasn't all branded, City Arctic. It was just Arctic Explorers, and you just thought it was something separate, but it's all part of city. And when you look at the broad scale of things together, it makes sense. But it's such a vast thing, and if we want to relate that to modern day aspect, we just had, not to get back on space, we just had a city theme launch at the beginning of the year for the 2024 year of space that combines classic space and city in a way we have not seen in 15 years,
Yep.
in a very unique aspect. In addition to that, something that's close to me personally is we now, I think it's June 1st, at the time of recording, it's before June 1st, have the new Jungle City theme coming out, which features one of my childhood icons, Johnny Thunder, coming, you know. And that's combining a totally adventurers theme into cities. They're doing so many different things with city. It's amazing. I mean, you can do anything with it. Anything that exists in reality, you can put into city.
Yep.
Which is just crazy.
Yeah, and you're right. They've thrown I think Legos, we've talked about, outside the podcast about the genius behind Lego's marketing and just the way they built their catalog and the way that they've created categories and subcategories and how they've been able to test things to see if they stick and if they don't. And you don't know what's going to hit, and they'll take a year and they'll throw, just a handful from each of these sub themes, like 6 sets from a sub theme, a poly bag, a $5.99, a $10.99, or whatever, run up the scale. And if they don't stick, they're gone, and then they become collector's items. But some of them have stuck, and the space one that you mentioned it's been hanging around. I mean, everyone's been wanting. I mean, I feel like they've been dabbling in it in the sense that they have spaceport, etc., within the city's sets, and you can buy all the creator expert stuff. I mean, they have space stuff, but actually creating the old space like feeling,
magic of that,
the magic, the full sets.
That's what brought it back, because space never went away, because city always had it, but it was based in very realistic stuff.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what
this
kept
year is
me
the first
into it
time.
and got me back into it, was because of that and the connection between space and city, in my opinion. As far
There you
as how
go.
I look at it, as far as coming back out of my dark ages, it was because of finding my old Lego and seeing my old city launch pads, town launch pad, and then going and looking for other space stuff, and then pulling myself back into city because I start seeing all of the more adult themed city style creator expert sets, So I'm looking back at things right now and stuff that I found, and there's a single set that sticks out in my mind, and I actually still have it rebuilt right now in my living room. And it's the old Classic Town motorcycle shop. It's set number 6373. It's just a little red and white and black building with a couple motorcycles out front. Very simple, simplistic, but it was one of my favorite sets as a child. And it's actually what inspired me to start doing some mocking again. So the old Classic Town is what kind of
motorcycle shop. That's such a cool.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
to give it to city to be where I am right now in my new Lego journey, it's because of the Classic City or Classic Town, actually.
Nice. Hey, Kipp, if you had never opened that set, you could sell it for about $600 right now. There's one for $425, but I'm sure it's got some things, and then like missing the box, 600. There's one for $760.
So this is also
pretty popular
this
set.
set also has a significant meaning to me, because this is the set that I swear on my life was basically taken apart and rebuilt by a ghost in my childhood.
How did you discover that?
Because I went to bed one night and I remember playing with it the night before, and the next morning it was back on the shelf where I had left it, but it was not a motorcycle shop. It was something totally different. And I asked my parents if they had knocked it off and tried to rebuild it or anything like that. They were like, "No, we don't know what you're talking about." So, yeah.
That freaks me out, man. So further right now. Take a deep breath.
I have a theory of one of two. Either you're a sleep mocker.
Yep, that's true. He could be.
You could be a sleepwalker. This was a very, very early iteration of the Monster 5% coming to fruition. You know,
What do you think, Kipp?
one of the two. I'm not sure which.
I'm still going with my ghost.
Okay,
I'm still
there we
going
go.
with my ghost.
At least your ghost is like a Lego, and it's probably a ghost ball.
It's a ghost.
It's a ghost ball.
Child at heart.
Love those acronyms. Everything has to have an acronym at Lego. Yeah,
Right.
go fall.
Yeah.
Ghost.
So, but we're getting where we're getting, and what I'm hearing from this is city. Thank you. That's what I do. Let me be the person
looking at bricklings right now. So let's get back to this.
I'll keep us in the bumpers. But to get back to it, you know, what I'm hearing is city encompasses so many different things, which is true. It encompassing so much. But the one thing that appeals to me about Lego City as a theme in particular is beyond Star Wars. I think Lego City has had one of the largest impacts in modern media and pop culture relevancy. For example, think of the Lego Movie back in 2012. Lego Movie was very Lego City focused. It covered all sorts of other themes as well, even space. But it was heavily Lego City focused. Right along the same times as that, you know, in a former life, I was a store manager for a major video game retailer. You guys do the math. And during that time, Lego City Undercover came out, and big city focused, original story told around Lego. You know, when all Lego games were trying to capitalize on popular IP like Star Wars and Pirates of the Caribbean and Lord of the Rings and all these other things, Lego wanted to do something unique with Lego City and tell their own story, create a unique character. Even farther back than that, one of my touchstones from my youth is the Lego Island game in 1997.
Wow.
Not familiar with that one.
Lego.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Lego Island is to me what I think of when I think of town. Is Lego Island, and it spawned off things. You know, Lego Island directly influenced things like the Lego extreme sports type of things, because it was Lego's first foray into video games, but it also created some of their popular city themes of the early 2000s and mid 2000s during the extreme stunts, extreme sports, skateboarding and BMX and that kind of stuff popularity. And dude, Pepperoni, man, he was my boy.
That's awesome.
He was the main character's name, John, by the way, in case you weren't familiar.
He wasn't either.
So that's all I thought about.
Yeah,
was the pepperoni I love.
Yeah, he was the I think the nephew of Mama and Papa Briccolini, who ran the pizza shop that he delivered pizzas for.
So
Yeah.
this was also a
You know,
PC
deep.
gamer game, right?
Oh, it was only
Yeah.
on PC. Yeah.
So there was no Nintendo or Sega, because it would have been back in
No.
that time frame as well, most likely.
Oh, absolutely. I'm talking this. It was not even WASD controls. It was straight up arrow keys. Is you're navigating around this world.
Wow.
Have you seen the Lego Fortnite? The Lego Islands Fortnite?
Yeah, I have seen that, and I think Lego's taking advantage a lot with that. I mean, because they can do any infinite number of IPs when it comes to that.
My goodness. Introducing Lego Islands, a new experience in Lego.
Yep.
Players with Fortnite can experience Lego. Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. Thank you for the knowledge dropped. That's so cool.
Infinite number. And now the Fortnite Lego Islands things is something totally different than the Lego Island that I grew up with. But it's worth falling down the rabbit hole of the original 1997 Lego Island. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
It's
and that kept you in the game.
It kept me in the game. I mean, there's a minifigure based on a character from that game, the Infomaniac, who was kind of your guide through the game. And that figure is like a $90 figure, something like that. Yeah,
You could probably find a full set for less than that, which is also crazy.
Well, they didn't make any Lego Island sets.
No.
It was just the game. But that Infomaniac, they threw into a set, I think in the mid 2000s, like a decade after the game came out. They just threw him in as a reference, kind of like they do with like the adventurers. You know, they
Easter
threw in
eggs.
the professor into the museum.
Yep.
You know, they just threw him in as an Easter egg for those. If you get it, you get it type thing. And I got it. I picked up on it immediately. I was like, yo, this is my jam. I spent way too much time playing Lego Island back in the day. Now bear in mind, this was not a good PC game, but it was a Lego game, and I was a Lego kid. So, but that's kind of what I'm going with here is the influence that Lego has on pop culture in general, but specifically Lego City did a lot of things on the back
Yep.
end to influence media that go completely ignored and completely by the wayside, even by members of the Lego community. There are those like me that are diehard Lego Island, and I would kill for Lego Island sets today. But there are also those of John who didn't. It wasn't even on his radar.
Right.
No, that was during my dark
That was
ages.
during my
Just I was
dark
looking
ages
at the
too,
math.
so yeah.
Yeah, and
Which
that
is
would
a-
have been
which is-
a few years before mine.
Yeah, so it's interesting because obviously we all have different dark age stages. There were so many sets and themes that I missed that I'm always surprised at what is out there that I haven't seen. It's something is
Yeah.
always new. And even like, just kind of looking on the internet for, content to talk about. I couldn't believe all the different themes that I've missed and I've never even seen. I'll remember them, but every set or every theme has a deep kind of,
Yep.
it goes down, and then I'll remember one set, but not the whole thing anyway. Yeah, so that's cool. Lego Island online. Maybe I'll come over and we can play that together.
Yeah, I referenced Monster Fighters earlier. That was a theme during my dark ages.
I had
Let's
other
get right
Monster
into the
Fighters.
words. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one during my dark ages. But that's City's impact on society and just video game medium alone, and the references that you see in like the Lego movie. So City is all over the place, and the reason why I think City is all over the place is because City is what we know. It's what's most easily relatable. It's what you see every day in your day-to-day life. So you can be inspired to create anything in Lego, as we all, even things we've never seen before. That's part of the human brain and the way that we can create and the way inspiration strikes us to become artists and engineers within our selected medium. But City in particular is so easy to spark that because it's what you see every day. John, you referenced the SE Bricks collaborative build that we're working on now. That's something that's sparked by things that you see all the time.
Every day. Lego is an imitation of real life, and it's exactly what people want to do. They love model building. They love creating what they see. That's just the outlet of creativity that comes from Lego.
And City, I think, is the closest thing to that.
The easiest to build.
The easiest translation.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I started.
Plus,
Go ahead.
yeah, I think you actually said something that made me think about the impact of Lego City on culture, and just thinking back to how Lego and the Christensen family and the family that started Lego really had a thought process behind everything. And so there was a purpose at some point to build and design a toy that could teach children how to live and how to interact and what tools there, city, police, ambulance, hospital, and they could recreate real life from a really young age. So I mean, at its core, City is not just a art medium for a lot of faithfuls, but for just in general, it's a tool for training. It establishes cultural, beliefs and systems at a young age. Kids get a car, they know they got to drive it between the lines. That's the point of having lines.
Even beyond that, we have a member in our lug who uses Lego, and honestly, it's a city build as well as his soccer stadium. He used that to help work with his special needs daughter, and they've had a lot of fun and success in building that soccer stadium.
It's awesome too. What a display!
Right.
I think we have a YouTube channel with him, don't we? Do we have a YouTube?
Yeah, there'll be a YouTube video. If it hasn't dropped yet, it's coming.
Yeah, because he's displayed now at a couple shows, and that's right. I mean, again, City is not just the sets, which we could talk about, but the real thing is what happens because of the City sets, as far as we're concerned. And that's such a great example is how, a child with special needs and a parent are able to connect and learn about, norms and to try and fit in and understand things. And in their case, they They collab built that thing, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's worthy of a prize somewhere for
Right.
sure, and it's not small
No.
either. You know, I think it's got to be at least 16 48 by 48 plates, like in a square 4 by 4,
Yeah,
48 plates. Would you say?
it's large.
Big.
Yeah, I would say at least that.
Yeah, and it has a bunch of city
Yeah,
sets in it.
a bunch of little of the food trucks and different other sets that have been incorporated into it. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is kind of what I also do with my amusement park. I incorporate all the city food trucks into little food stands and mock them out, and so
Kipp, I gotta
they get
let me
inspired
just
from
pause and give you.
everything.
Yeah, I want to give you massive credit, man. So you know, in your short time building, what you've put together that is city inspired, which is the point here of me pointing this out, but also I want to take a chance to say, dude, your amusement park, your city building, your buildings, the way that you display them, it's freaking amazing. It's inspiring. And so the detail you put into them, the thought you put into the interiors, you put lights in them. You know, the amusement park, for those of you who haven't ever seen Kipp's amusement park, and most SC Bricks people have, it is the most detailed, and I've had a chance to put minifigs on it. So trust me, I know. Yeah, I've loaded it with minifigs and it's fun. But the amount of work that goes into the automation, that goes into the actual integration with all of the 1x2 modified tiles that you put out there, the sidewalks, the activity, all the different you buy and get the small little city sets, and they're all integrated in there. So, dude, just massive props to you. I can't wait. I always think I can't wait to see what he's building now. You know, and it's neat to hear that it's really city theme based for you. That's your drive, even though you're trying different stuff.
Well, here's the idea. The whole idea behind it was to actually connect my Lego City with my amusement park. So one of the ways to do that was through all of the city ideas, such as all the different food trucks, all the different restaurants. So what I've done is I've created a cross-contamination, so to speak, to where I have a little food stand in the amusement park that's one of the burger trucks, but I also have created a brick and mortar restaurant in my city based off of the burger truck. Then I also have the burger truck running around the city. So it's kind of like a chain of the same restaurant through all of the different ideas I have going with my different builds. So
let me just I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, you have your own narrative
Exactly.
going throughout your city and your amusement park.
And you have some business entrepreneurship displayed there, brother. You got multiple shops. You know, like there's definitely some franchise owner that might be getting robbed somewhere, and they might need a policeman to come get them. Right?
The security.
There's an accident because of a police chase.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe the guy in the penguin suit's going to get, you know, he's going to get involved, and they're going to chase down the guy in the dinosaur suit. And I mean, like, you just have it all in there. But yeah.
It all ties back to storytelling. You know,
Yes.
I mean, we talked about it early on, but I mean, how do we play as AFOLs is one of the things we talked about, and that's how we play. We tell stories. You know, just like we did when we were a kid. We just might not move it as much once we put it down.
We put detail in it so the story is told without having to move it.
Move it. You know, it's wonderful, and I mean, City does that perfectly. And you two in particular on this podcast with me, I'm constantly in awe by the things that you put up. You know, John with your farm, Kipp with your amusement park, John with your city in the Lego garage. It's just it's constant. It's amazing, and
Thank you.
It takes up so much space, but there's so much detail to it. And
you can't break these down. They just keep building on them. Just find space.
Another garage.
It's so much fun, and it inspires me as a minimalist builder to try and do other things, you know, that doesn't necessarily take up that much space. You know, off podcast we talked about, you know, me dipping my toe into city in the form of micro scale building, and that's a whole nother avenue of city. While it's technically not city as far as the theme we know, it is city. It is heavily city inspired.
Kind of like,
you know,
architecture
recreating a metropolis at a micro scale. It's fascinating to me, and I can do it in the way that I enjoy building, which is small scale detail. So that's exciting. But I do have, just to kind of get back into the larger scale city, I would be remiss if we did not mention this fact, and I think this is a well-known fact amongst the AFOL community, but the largest producer of rubber tires is Lego.
It's not Goodyear,
Thank you, Lego Town, Lego City.
it's Lego.
Correct. Due directly to Lego City, because there's very few Lego City sets that do not have at least a vehicle in them. Also, I discovered this fun fact recently. Recently, I had some very close family friends of mine and their son, who I'm kind of an uncle to. He's really big into Hot Wheels right now. So in my house, we were running Hot Wheels tracks all the way through the house, and he was interested for all of about 10 minutes, and then it was basically me and my buddy, essentially breaking his child's toys by pushing them to the limits throughout my house.
Big kid play.
Big kid play. But we were doing the math. We were weighing the cars and trying to determine the proper weight to speed ratio of slamming the launcher and everything. It was great. And then his wife and my wife were looking at each other on the couch, going, "You realize he stopped being over there with you 20 minutes ago?" And we're like, yeah, it's fine, but we've got to figure this out.
You can go watch his videos. We're fine over here.
It's whatever. It's fine. We're gonna play with the Hot Wheels. But what I realized during that trip, because I fell down a Hot Wheels rabbit hole, is Lego actually produces more toy cars than Hot Wheels does.
Oh, no way. What?
Yes.
That's not possible.
Well, because Hot Wheels does specific series every year, and they do limited series. So they only produce X number of cars every year in a series.
Yeah.
Lego
Mass
just
produces.
chunks them out with every single, mass produces them
To
with
your
every single
point,
set.
there's so many different vehicles in every different set of the city line.
Correct. Even not just city, but
Yeah.
other themes as well. If it has four or more wheels, it is a vehicle.
Wow, that does make sense when you put it like that, because of all the sets that are big vehicles, small vehicles, multi-vehicles, space vehicles, everything. Yeah, you start rolling it up. That does make sense.
Yeah.
Well, that makes me proud. I'm really proud about that, because I enjoy the toy that has the most tires on Earth and has the most.
Right.
I'm looking at a bunch of them right now. So, I mean, I agree.
Think of all the speed champions that have been mass produced over the years.
Yes, especially the last few years.
And I mean, keep in mind too, we all as AFOLs have that giant plastic container full of tires that we have no idea what we're going to do with, but we need to get rid of.
Great idea there is one of our members is building a go-kart track using the tires, just like a real go-kart track. City themes.
City themes.
So you can put the little city
We have another guy doing the tire yard that's being delivered to by the train, the big train cars that he's doing. Carl is doing several tire cars.
Right.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Carl, that's right. With his huge trains, he's got a couple cars that are literally just filled with Lego tires. Yeah, that makes sense. I love it.
Being delivered to the city.
Yeah, so let's. Yeah, I know there's lots of rabbit holes to go down, but just one I want to go down is the train aspect of town.
Yes.
The World City trains and some of the other trains that have come up. Like that was another thing that always kept me engaged with Lego is the different trains. So starting with the black engine, I don't remember the set number. I feel like it's 375. That might be the castle. It's actually 317, but that black 9-volt train that had a couple engines on it, and then from there, you had all the specialty trains. And then every year they come out with new trains. That in itself, it creates an environment that you need to fill in. So you can't just have train tracks around. You got to have a train station. And then you got to have a building next to the train station. Then you got to have a road to get to the train station. Oh, by the way, not only do they have road plates, right? So now they have road plate systems, right? Their own road plate. And it used to be you had to buy these 10 by 10, which I love, the green ones and then the gray ones. And those were important in the growth of my own Lego journey. But now you can build your own roads and people are doing it like crazy. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of different styles. And so you take the train, you take everything connecting to it, and it's really shaping the city feel that everyone wants to have, right? Who doesn't like having a Lego train go through their town?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or in your amusement park. Even in your amusement park, you have some stuff that's like, game related, but you're talking about putting like a tram around it.
Exactly. So there is actually a tram already done. There's 3 of them for Videoland.
Nice.
Videoland.
Nice.
But Carl had even already made a Videoland train for me. out of his train collection. So he has repurposed one of his trains and marked it up for Videoland. So
That's awesome.
So the trains is a fascinating thing, and I'm gonna say one piece on it real quick, because trains needs to be its own entire episode.
yes, it does.
It really does, because trains is a fascinating aspect of not only the Lego community. There's a whole section of the Lego community, Carl being one of them, that's their primary focus, is the train aspect of it. But there's something about trains.
Shout out to Carl Joffrey.
Shout out to Carl.
And Doris. Don't leave Doris out.
Yes, very important.
Yes. Pogo Brick House.
But there's something about trains that just appeals to people. And it's not just Lego. I mean, model train builders existed long before Lego and continue to exist. We got to see one firsthand recently. Within the last month at one of our meetings, we got to experience a train group. And that kind of cemented in my brain. And I remember, everyone grows up with Thomas the Tank Engine. Trains is one of the first motion items you get exposure to, and has been for generations across all toy mediums. So trains, while it is an extension of city and a necessary part of it, it is very much its own world entirely. And I want to deep dive into that. But
Happy to get on that rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, we've got to do a train topic. So Carl, if you're listening, be ready, because we're going to be picking your brain on trains. If not,
we'll just have him. He knows, his knowledge base in that area is substantial, because I'm just going to
click record. And
it will be a master class.
Every once in a while, we'll ask him a question. And he's, I love that he's so willing to share, by the way. He always is super helpful. His effort in Atlanta BrickCon was probably, in my opinion, it was the glue that pulled everything together. His train work, his train yard at Atlanta BrickCon, I think helped us win the best lug display, no doubt. Kipp.
100%. It's what connected everything together and made it what it was.
That's the beautiful thing about trains in a city environment. Is one of the things as an AFOL that I've learned is, the natural progression of elevating your builds is lighting and motion, and trains provide both of that. And you can have a very, very static city build, and if you've got a train going around it, it becomes alive suddenly, just by the act of a train moving, because people fill in the blanks and they start creating their own stories, just the train moving of, this minifigure is getting off at this stop, and maybe we're going over here, and maybe we're going to the flower shop, and we got a little storytelling over here. We're going to the burger truck. City creates so many story opportunities, and at the end of the day, one of the things that I want to remind the audience and the builders within our own SE Brick community that are listening is, at the end of the day, no matter what theme that you build, no matter what theme you're passionate about, no matter what your focus is, you are at your core a storyteller. That is what you do. It doesn't matter. You do not have to be a social butterfly. You do not have to be an entertainer, but you creating your own world naturally makes you a storyteller. Everyone has a story to tell. That is the theme of this podcast, and that is the theme I want nobody to forget. No matter what we talk about, is the theme is you. So,
amen, brother. I am the theme. Let's do it.
Talk about you.
I want Lego. Yeah, I want Lego to make a theme about my life. Oh, they already do.
It's
and
called
they
a
build
garage.
it.
They built a Lego garage in one way or another.
Yeah, they've got several garages, John.
Yeah. Coincidentally, Carl has my favorite garage build I've ever seen. He combined two of the garage builds, the Great Expert ones, and it's fantastic.
It is very, very impressive.
Oh, you've seen it too? Yeah.
I have not had the pleasure. I certainly
Lego bucket list. And then when you see it, you'll just be like, "Oh, that's what John was talking about." That makes sense. Yes.
Carl and I were talking this past weekend about how I have not had the pleasure of visiting the Pojo Brick House, so I will have to make that
I want to be there when you go.
Pilgrimage here soon.
When you go, I want to go with you.
Yeah, on this right here. Yep. Let's go ahead and have a remote podcast there and have our interview with him.
Let's do it.
Sounds good to me, man. That works.
Because that's an experience in itself. You're going to be overwhelmed. Like your brain's not going to function
And
correctly
see,
for a little
John,
bit.
what you might have been thinking is I wasn't talking about interviewing Carl. I was talking about interviewing Eric and all of his thoughts as he.
I'm with you. You and I are on
Yeah.
the same page. Standing there with him, microphone in front of his face.
In
Tell
the
us what you're
moment.
thinking. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of silence for a bit. I'm just going to be honest. I'd like to record the silence.
Silence is golden in that situation because it speaks
Moment of-
so many volumes.
That's
moment
right.
of awe and reflective. reflective.
Honestly, John, to be quite honest with you, the next time I'm able to get there, it will be a completely different Pojo brick house because he has done so
they're redoing
many
it.
different things since I've been there last. Because it's been a while with all the different things going on recently. I just haven't been able to get there.
I almost can't handle it. Kipp. Just stop. My brain's going to explode. I don't know what he's going to do, but last time I was there was amazing. So
Sit
if
there
it's going to
with
be
the train wrapped all around it. So, I'm trying to bring it back into this whole city theme here, but my lord, he's got a space to put an amazing city and train layout, which actually brings me back to it with trains and city and everything else. That also allows the Lego community to kind of commingle with the train community in the fact that there has been a lot of train community members that have walked into the Lego community and seen the different models that they could put together to have their non-Lego trains running around.
You have cross compatibility. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because you see all those train layouts, and they have all of these little towns and hillscapes and everything, tunnels and all of that they run through. It's just a natural progression to move it into a different type of model building called Lego and their plastic bricks instead of like paper mache and
Sure.
like model wood gluing and things like that. Back to Lego.
It is a different medium, but well, gentlemen, before we wrap, final thoughts on City.
It is one of my favorite themes. It's what's got me into Lego as a child and what brought me back as an adult. I will stray from it from time to time, but I really feel that as life continues and my Lego journey continues, I will always find a way back to the city streets.
Oh, I love that. Well said, Kipp. He just
lives in them streets.
He does. He can't get away from those streets, brother. I love it. Hey, so wow, I don't even know how to follow that because that was really well said.
It was incredibly poetic.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't
Kipp,
even
just
mean
a
to.
moment
Oh
of
my
silence
gosh.
for it. That's the best part about it. All right. Well, first of all, I love the conversation of City because it's so deep. There's so much there to unpack. It continues to evolve in front of us, but it's moving in a direction that only makes it more exciting and fun to build. So for me, I'm with you, Kipp. I will always have some cityscape in my building, in my Lego garage, or whatever I look at the store. When I go to the store, I see city stuff and I will look at it fondly. It just will never leave my brain. And then lastly, I can't wait to build next to your city stuff, Kipp, because I've seen what you've been building, some of your high rises, and I've had some ideas in my head about my own downtown cityscape, difference from the regular town stuff we build. And now we have more ammunition to do that. So I'm looking forward to building more city stuff with you.
Yes, sir. Build, inspire, create. That's what we do with each other.
That's right.
Absolutely. I love it. My recap on my city journey and what I've learned here today is for me as a builder is I don't think I will never say never, but the level of city that you and Kipp and many others in our community do, I don't know if I will attain that just from space allowances. But what I will say I do is me as a builder, like everyone else, I'm a storyteller. I love doing dioramas. I love doing small scale stories. I will always look for a city inspiration to tell a story. If I can create a story from a city set, I'm going to do it. It might not be new Hiroshima, techno city or a massive, SE brick scale collab city, but you better believe that Eric Builds Bricks will have a skyscraper.
He's throwing down the gauntlet. Listen, we can wrap this up real quick. You can wrap this up real quick. It's got to be at least 6 stories. Like 6 stories is the minimum. Like, and that's, you know what I mean? Like, because I've seen what's out there.
Thank you, city planner.
Yeah. So at least 6 stories to be in it. Yeah. So I can't. Please do Minecraft. Please do something Minecraft theme.
I have so many plans going on up here right now, but Kipp and I have talked about it. I am committed to doing a city skyscraper to commit to the collab. So city has its place. Yeah, city has its place in my world too. I respect the theme. It is part of my origins as well. I just don't grand scale build like you guys do.
And that is okay.
Now, and there's a place for micro builds. I'm as excited about what you're going to build as what I built. You know, I'd like to get better at building smaller.
I'm so excited for the micro scale stuff. I really am. That's really what just looking at it from quite literally a different perspective and focusing on detail that's where my eye kind of falls, and I'm excited to take that journey. So we'll recap on that. But ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 3 of the Brick Life.
Happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday, John.
Thank you. I forgot already. It's my birthday. This was fun. It was fun. Appreciate it, guys. That was a trip down memory lane in a way, but also we always go down these awesome rabbit holes together. So thank you.
We really do. We really do. So once again, guys, this show is for you. If there's a topic you want us to talk about, if there's something you want us to dive deeper in on, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Tell us what you want to hear. And we want you to see yourself reflected in this show, in each of us, in the way we build, in the way we speak. We want you to hear yourself in it. So let us know what you want to hear. Until next time, Kipp, it's your turn to take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, bricks down.
Bricks down. Bricks down.